This man disobeyed a direct order and saved an entire country. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Hidden History with Frank Strickland. You know, there's a teacher like this in every city across America. Miss Carter, third period. She had that big metal desk that was 500 pounds. Bottom right drawer, there was a thermos, more alcohol than coffee most of the time. She had gray hair and a face that was etched with wrinkles and regret. She didn't teach you any of this, but I'm going to today. Born in Charlottesville, Virginia in 1800, our guy had a strong connection to Thomas Jefferson. He studied law under Jefferson and married his granddaughter, Virginia Randolph. After Jefferson's death, he helped manage his financially troubled estate. He later served as a clerk in the State Department and as a private secretary for President Andrew Jackson. In 1833, he was appointed U.S. Consul to Havana, Cuba. His tenure was controversial, with accusations of neglecting his duties and aiding the illegal slave trade. Despite calls for his removal, he remained in the position until 1841. He returned to government service in 1845 when President James K. Polk appointed him chief clerk of the State Department. In 1847, President Polk sent our guy to Mexico to serve as a peace commissioner during the Mexican-American War. Polk's initial terms were to secure the cession of New Mexico and California and to establish the Rio Grande as the Texas border, offering up to $30 million for the territory. However, our guy's relationship with General Winfield Scott, the commander of U.S. forces in Mexico, started with hostility, but soon developed into a close friendship. As the war progressed and U.S. forces captured Mexico City, peace negotiations stalled. Impatient and wanting to secure more territory, Polk grew frustrated with our guy and ordered him to return to Washington in November of 1847. Our guy received a recall order in Mexico, but decided to disobey the president. He believed that this was the last chance to secure a peace treaty with an unstable Mexican government, and that leaving would have disastrous consequences. In a 65-page letter to Polk, he defended his decision to remain and continue negotiations. With the help of General Scott and British diplomats, he engaged in a months-long negotiation process with the Mexican government. On February 2, 1848, he successfully negotiated and signed the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. The terms of the treaty included Mexico ceding over 500,000 square miles of land, including present-day California, Nevada, Utah, and parts of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Wyoming. Mexico relinquished all claims to Texas and recognized Rio Grande as the border, the U.S. paying Mexico $15 million for the territory and assuming $3 million in debts owed by Mexico to American citizens. Upon receiving the treaty, President Polk was furious at his insubordination. However, the treaty's terms met his core objectives, and he recognized that rejecting it would likely prolong the costly and unpopular war. He submitted the treaty to the Senate, which ratified it. Our guy's action resulted in a historic peace agreement and saved the nation. But he was immediately fired and denied his salary for the time he spent negotiating after the recall. His political career was over, and he spent the next 2 decades in relative poverty. In 1871, a bill was passed to finally pay him for his services and expenses. He died in 1874. An initially forgotten figure who, through a defiant act of diplomacy, fundamentally reshaped the map of the United States. So who is this man that against all odds and at great personal cost secured a lasting treaty and saved a nation? His name is Nicholas Trist. And that, my friends, is our hidden history.